Hello, hello everyone. So today I decided to go out today, and recently I've been thinking a lot. I've almost been having an existential quarter life crisis. A lot of people around my age, in their late 20s, I feel, are going through this, not knowing what direction we should choose to go in career wise, relationship wise, like education wise, just because of the volatility of anything we commit to, whether or not it will work out, like relationships, um, whether or not those will work out, if we go back to school, whether or not it's going to be worth it, if we start a job, whether or not that job will still exist. And so everything that used to be considered stable, or everything we thought we would be able to commit to, we're not sure if those things will work out in the future because of multiple factors. Sometimes how one of those things affect the others, like how a relationship might affect a career choice, or how a career choice might affect a relationship, or how our education choices might affect our ability to get certain careers. I guess earlier years ago, in the past, maybe by a few years, it was more certain what would happen if we went down a certain career choice or a certain education pathway, like getting a degree in engineering, or even liberal arts degrees. There was a lot more flexibility. There was a lot more things you could do. The general premise was that if you just get a degree, you're better set for navigating society as like a grown-up, as an adult. And that doesn't, it's still, I think it's still true that it's important to get a degree so that you have more options, especially abroad. Like if you want to work outside of a Western country, that English speaking country, almost every job out there that's not directly tailored to what you studied at least requires you to have a degree. So for example, teaching English, they just require you to have a degree. It can't be a diploma, it can't be a certificate, an associate's degree. I'm not sure about that one, but it needs to be a degree, 4-year degree. So associate's degree is sometimes shorter. It needs to be a 4-year degree. And so before, it used to be important to just get that. Now with some post-secondary education, it's not as certain that if you get that, you'll have a good career. And if you don't have a good career, I mean, you can't fund living independently, which is like a natural goal. You want to be self-sufficient, independent. These days, the job market isn't that certain. It's hard to even find one. And so it's hard to become independent financially. And if it's hard to do that, then it's hard to get into a relationship. I think this is especially true for men, because like we want to feel independent and self-sufficient before getting into a relationship. I know that's not always necessary. It's not always the case that only men who are capable of living independently are getting into relationships, but I still think that desire is there to like be able to provide for yourself and know, or have the expectation to, if necessary, provide for somebody else. And I definitely feel that. I right now not actively, like, not putting all my energy into getting into a relationship, because right now I'm just a cleaner, and not to throw shade at people who are cleaners, but I can't live independently with this, like, on this kind of wage, like with this kind of income. And so I'm considering, or I've already applied to post-secondary school again, so that I can increase my certifications, increase my education in a practical degree, like science field and engineering field, so that I can hopefully get a job that allows me a greater likelihood of becoming a more independent adult. Like, I want to have that ability. Things are expensive in general, so like in most cases people can't do things on their own. So if I do want to get into a relationship, I have the expectation that I have the understanding that I probably can't do it. I can't eventually live on my own and that be the way I afford things, but that's a goal. I want that to be possible. That's my goal. That's what I'm working to. Get more education, get a degree, get my degree, get a higher paying job, and thus be able to live independently. Should I be on the express lane right now? I'm not sure. I'm on the highway right now, and there's a lot of traffic. I don't know where I'm supposed to be right now. But anyways, yeah, that's my thinking. I'm not sure if any of this is gonna work. And because I'm not sure if anything's gonna work, it makes me look at other options of things I know I want to do, because those things will never go away. And I want to pursue those things because I'm not sure if any of the quote unquote stable choices that I make will work. I'm not sure if it will make the most sense to get this degree or another degree, or that the job I get will actually allow me to afford the future I want. But it is a step in the right direction. So I'm going to at least make the decision and make it right, rather than flip-flop between making a decision and not knowing if it's going to work, and then waste all that time when I should have just been making a decision and then using whatever I learned from that to make the next decision. And so that's what I've done lately. I made the decision to apply to university. I did. And even while I am at this job as a cleaner, and even when I do start studies at this university, if that ends up happening, I'm gonna continue looking for better work opportunities related to the fields I studied in the past, so that I can increase my income and learn new things, learn new skills, get more certifications, so that I can be more valuable in the field of study that I actually am going to be studying towards or working towards. So that's my plan, and we'll see how it works. But things are expensive these days, and the cleaner salary won't allow me to buy the things or spend money on the things that I like. I just went to McDonald's and I just got a pop. I just got a Sprite, and it cost $2.69. I don't know if it's been that way for a few years, but then I looked at the tax. I don't remember exactly what the tax is right now, but it was 35 cents. And so when they told me the total was $3.05, I was like, oh, what, really? I mean, I don't like looking at the prices of things. I like knowing if I want it, and if I need it, then I look at the price and I'll be like, how much do I value it? Right now, I wanted something sweet, so I didn't care that this was $3, but I know that's not like a great price. Like, it's not a great price for pop. So I'm thinking about those things. Like, if I were to do this every day, my skin would look like crap, one, but I think it'd be a very big waste of money. But there are other little things that I want to spend money on that they cost significant change. And so I need to put myself in a better position to be able to afford those things, because it doesn't seem like the government's really out there for the lower income people. And so I gotta work to become a higher income individual, and maybe this education I get will allow me to work remotely and work in another country that has lower cost of living. That would be awesome. But until then, I'm just gonna try and make more money here and see how that goes. So yeah, that's it for this video. I'm gonna progress through life and afford McDonald's pop. So thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next video. Peace.